I'd like to call this meeting to order on this day, Monday, April 11th, 2016. If Clerk Kornecki could please call the roll for us.
Trustee Aiello. Trustee Bulfus. Here. Trustee Cazone. Here. Trustee Case. Here. Trustee Taglia. Here. Trustee Wagner. Here. President Bullwinkle.
Here. If we could all please rise for the pledge. I'll lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to ask you to remain standing for one more second, and I have Trustee Taglia lead us in the prayer tonight.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Our Heavenly Father, will thou be pleased to grant that this meeting thus be done in order, be conducted in peace, and closed in harmony. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. For those of us joining us tonight, if you don't have an agenda already, we have agendas in the rack on the outside of the chamber, so please make sure you grab an agenda if you're here with us tonight. Item number 3 on the Committee of the Whole is amendments to the agenda. Does anybody on the board have any amendments to the Committee of the Whole agenda? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to move on to item number 4, proclamation declaring April 29th, 2016 as Arbor Day in Villa Park. I'm going to read this really quick. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed that a special day be set aside for planting trees to be known as Arbor Day. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed around the world and is celebrated on the last Friday in April in the state of Illinois. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees in our village increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas for the 31st year in a row, Villa Park has been designated as Tree City USA. And whereas Villa Park will celebrate Arbor Day with a tree planting ceremony on April 29th, which is a Friday, ceremony on April 29th, 2016. Now, therefore, I, Deborah Bullwinkle, Village President of the Village of Villa Park, proclaim Friday, April 29th, 2016 as Arbor Day in Villa Park. Further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations. Dated this 11th day of April, 2016. It's very nice. So then item number, yes?
I'm getting a sign from the audience here that the date is not correct.
The date is not correct?
27th?
Oh. We're going to find out. Maybe we have a change of the date
Can't be the
after all.
27th. What
is the date? According to the proclamation, we have April 29th.
Tree planting is actually on Wednesday, the 27th.
Oh. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, Arbor Day is on the 29th, but the tree planting is actually on the 27th, so thank you very much. So I don't think I have to reread this, do I?
No.
Well,
For that? Okay, we've made it. I'm just making sure. Just making sure, because normally dates are correct on these things, so, all right, okay. So we're doing the tree planting on the 27th then. All right, very cool. Okay. Going to move on then. Item number 5, National Library Week proclamation. I hope I got the date right in this one. We're going to find out. Whereas libraries are not just about what we have for people, but what we do for and with people. Whereas libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions, and library workers and librarians fuel efforts to better their communities, campuses, and schools. Whereas libraries are evolving in order to serve their communities and to continue to fulfill their role in leveling the playing field for all who seek information and access to technologies. Whereas libraries and librarians open up a world of possibilities through innovative STEAM programming, makerspaces, job-seeking resources, and the power of reading. Whereas libraries and librarians are looking beyond their traditional roles and providing more opportunities for community engagement and deliver new services that connect closely with patrons' needs. Whereas libraries support democracy and affect social change through their commitment to provide equitable access to information for all library users, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. Whereas libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating National Library Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Deborah Bullwinkle, Village President, proclaim National Library Week, April 10th through the 16th, 2016. I'm getting the high sign, that's right. I encourage all residents to visit your library this week to take advantage of the wonderful library resources available at your library. Dated this 11th day of April, 2016. Thank you very much. And we have some goodies from the library. I don't know if you want to come up for just a second.
My name is Candace Pritler. I'm the head of circulation and outreach services at the library. I want to say thank you for recognizing the week and shared some information with all of you about Library Week and things that libraries are doing outside of just books and kind of the traditional roles that we've had. And just to highlight a few things we've created.
Can you adjust the mic a little bit there? Yeah, there you go.
We've
Now we
created
can see.
a new library logo that we will be unveiling in the new resource coming out, and that was a product of an online contest that was held through a group called Graphic Design. So that was a project that we did earlier this year that'll be in the new resource coming out in just a few weeks. And some of the programs that we're highlighting this week are story times. We have some coloring clubs for adult and children. We have an author and motivational speaker this week. A cheese tasting, book discussions, and also poetry reading. So those are just some of the things that we're highlighting National Library Week, and just a sample of some of the programs that we're doing.
Okay,
So thanks
great.
again.
Thank you very much. We have a nifty bookmark here and a pencil and a little pin that we got here. So thank you very much for that. Nice week. Okay, we're going to move on then, Committee of the Whole. Item number 6 is presentation on recycling rates from representatives of Roy Strom Company, LLC. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. In order to recycle materials gathered through weekly refuse pickup, it now costs approximately $33 per ton to transport and recycle the waste. This has become an additional financial burden to Roy Strom Company, LLC, and the village. Mr. George Strom is here this evening requesting village assistance due to increased recycling costs. And Your Honor and board and folks at home, what's happening is that in the past, recycling was basically cost-free, and now, since there's been a change in the recycling market, and Mr. Strom will take us through that, particularly in China, it now costs $33 per ton to transport and recycle. And Mr. Strom will tell you some interesting things. In fact, it used to take 10 empty plastic little drinking containers to make a new one. Now it takes 30 of these to make a brand new one. So it's much more labor intensive. The recycling stream, if it gets contaminated, becomes labor intensive to clean it. In fact, Mr. Strom and I were just talking the other day, and I said, you know, I always thought I could recycle my pizza box. And George said, no, you can't, because it's contaminated with cheese. And I always threw it in my recycling box. And you know what? I contaminated my stream every time. So at least once a week I contaminated my stream. So you can't recycle pizza boxes. So it's very interesting. And unfortunately, the market's upside down, and now it costs to recycle. And within our contract, you'll notice that there's a section that discusses recycling, and in the event that it costs to recycle, that Roy Strom Company can come to the village and request financial assistance. And they're doing that. And this has not been just in the last 30 to 60 days. This has been occurring probably in the last 12 to 15 months that Roy Strom LLC has absorbed the cost, which is probably around $3,500 to $4,000 to $4,000 per month. And now, obviously, that's quite a financial burden. Moving forward, they see no change in the market, and I'm probably taking the rug out from underneath Mr. Strom's presentation, but within the contract, there's that clause. Additionally, there's another clause that allows the board to give direction to Roy Strom LLC to take the recyclables and put those into the garbage stream and take them to the landfill. And so what we're really doing this evening is staff is looking for some direction. I mean, to put it in the landfill and not recycle is kind of contrary to what we've really been preaching to the citizens and to our green committee and things of that nature. To do that would be probably another 100 tons a month into the garbage stream. So again, staff is looking at some direction to work with George Strom, to either pass along the cost to the residents, absorb it by the village through the surplus fund, or et cetera. So at this point, Your Honor, if I may, I'll turn
Yes,
it over to
please.
George Strom.
Thank you, Manager Keener and President Bullwinkle and the board. I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me tonight, and the people watching at home and in the audience. Thank you so much for the time. I put together a presentation that can, first off, talk about the positive things that have been going on regarding recycling. Talking about the Arbor Day, coming up, and talking about the Garden Village. Those are all green things, very positive for the community, and also I think recycling is a positive thing for the community. So with having said that, I don't want it to look like gloom and doom, because that's obviously not the case. The village has done a great job partnering with us on putting together recycling programs and things to help the community in a positive way. So before we get into kind of the not as fun or exciting part about it, I wanted to highlight what we've done partnering with the village in the past several years to promote recycling. And these are just a few of them. Recycling magnets was one of them, and I've got a couple slides for each of these, so that way you can kind of understand more in depth specifically what those are for. But we had recycling magnets, recycling carts, you've seen in some portions of town, recycling education materials, and a recycling rebate opportunity that is really something that is really nice. So the first thing, recycling magnets. This was something that actually Rich and I talked about several years ago, and it was a lot of times you see on your refrigerator, your kids' school schedule, your grocery list, all that good stuff. It's really a point of education in the house and keeping everything centralized. So we thought that actually getting a magnet to all the residents would be a good idea to help them, better educate themselves on what is recycling and what is the good things that you can put in the recycling stream. So we put together 10,000 magnets. They're distributed out to all the residents in the village. Like I mentioned, the idea was to increase participation, increase the cleanliness of the stream. Obviously try to avoid the pizza boxes, things of that nature. Having said that, sometimes if the lid of the pizza box is clean, you could rip the lid off and put that in the recycling, and some of the other things that we have issues with. But that's okay. It's all right, no problem. And then the next part is the recycling carts. I get a lot of questions from residents throughout the village still about, I drive down the northern part of town and I see these people, they have these recycling carts, and why do they have the carts and I don't? Well, that's a great question. We looked at a pilot program to give one section of town these 64-gallon carts with the idea that if you were to have a larger capacity cart and more ease of use to roll it to your curb, you would be more inclined to recycle more material. So that was kind of the hypothesis, or the thought process behind that. And the reason it was the Friday section was, the story behind that was, if we, Roy Strom, ever needed to change a day for a group of the town, we would ask that Friday section would change. So really change their day if we ever had to, which we haven't. But if they did need to change their day, in return they got these carts. That was really the reasoning behind Friday getting those carts. So over the 6-month period, I was giving reports to Manager Keener, and we were looking at this closely. There's some positives in this. The tonnage overall decreased. So the actual refuse went down, and so did the recycling. Now, we were thinking that the recycling would also increase. It just kind of didn't work out that way. But overall, volumes have went down, and that may just be predicated upon, quite frankly, people buying less at that time and having less material to put at the curb. So that's kind of where that came from, and we kind of see that as a trend anyway in the industry, of volumes slowly decreasing, because like I mentioned, or like you had mentioned, Manager Keener, Packaging is smaller. People are finding other ways of using materials, buying less, and that type of thing. So the volumes have slowly come down over the last several years. Let me see. Oh, looks like this got a little. So then, recycling education. Here's one of the recyclable material lists that we've come up with that helps to, number one, brighten up the list of things that are accepted. A lot of times when you'll see pamphlets, you know, in certain things, it's black and white, not very eye-catching, eye-appealing. When you don't have that eye appeal, sometimes people just flip to the next page, and you don't want that, especially when it comes to something that I believe is pretty important. So what we did here was we took some really nice pictures, worked with one of the marketing companies that we partner with, and put together something that I feel like everyone that looked at it really took a few minutes to kind of say, oh, I didn't know that, you know, computers weren't allowed, e-waste wasn't allowed in my recycling bin, or whatever they noticed off of this. So this was really nice. We divvied this out to all the people. Number one, in the Friday section, when they did get their new carts, they had this, and then also available on our website. We sent it to the village to have on their website also. So we try to make this as available and readily and easily available as possible. And then this other one, the last part about just kind of highlighting the benefits of recycling. This was one that really, a lot of times people say, oh yeah, well, I'm recycling a bunch. I'm doing what they're telling me to do. What's in it for me? Other than just feeling good about doing the right thing with recycling, what's in it for me? Well, this was something that we felt would really help to entice people to really want to participate, was if the volume of recycling increased 5 pounds and the recycling decreased, actually the village would see a rebate on their monthly bill from Roy Strong by 0.5%, which is pretty significant actually when you look at the overall amount that is invoiced on a monthly basis. Unfortunately, that has not been hit yet, but there's always the opportunity to get there.
Yeah.
So now that I talked about all the really fun things that we've done in the village, positive things that have gone on, right? We can talk about more or less why specifically we're having these challenges in regards to recycling commodity prices. And I just picked out a few of them. We could talk all day. I know everybody wants to spend their night, you know, talking to me about garbage. I would love it, quite frankly. But not as many people get excited about garbage as I do, but that's okay.
This is recycling, though.
Oh yeah, recycling
You know,
I could talk about a long time as well.
more
So.
interesting than the garbage, maybe.
But so first, as Manager Keener had mentioned, the global commodity pricing. So several years back, China, which is the #1 buyer of the recycled commodities from the United States, created Operation Green Fence, which is basically they said we are going to stop more of the traffic coming from the United States to China and quite frankly all over the world, and we're going to open up these containers. We're going to inspect them a lot more closely. And if there's a certain amount of material that's in there that's not accepted, if it's too wet, a whole host of items, they're going to say, we're not taking it, send it back, and it would go into the garbage. So,
Too wet, like
if
it's newspaper and it's too wet?
yeah, if the
Really?
whole load, a lot of times what people may try to do to get better compaction on a bale of material, they might get it wet, and it'll, number one, weigh more for the commodity, and then also
Interesting.
really doesn't make the material as good when it's processed. So that in itself, when Operation Green Fence was put into place, it had a lot of problems with the recycling market. More currently, you have the Chinese economy has slowed down. They are making less things that we purchase in the United States and all over the world, which has caused less demand for the recyclable material. And so we've seen over the last about 18 months, the price of the recycling material continue to slowly decline, and that has a lot to do with it. Now, not only that, there are several other global factors that we in this room have a difficult time controlling, like lower crude oil, so you are enjoying a lower price at the pump. Also on the village's previous invoices, there used to be a fuel surcharge, and that is gone because the price of fuel is lower. So that's great for the people driving, all those types of things, but actually the plastic market has been affected because it is cheaper to buy, in some cases, virgin material rather than recycled plastic. So that's playing into effect. And then we actually locally have not that many glass recyclers. You wouldn't believe it. But so that has created a higher cost to get rid of the material. So a lot of places, some other companies have actually said they do not want glass in the waste stream. That's not something we have done. We've also heard that for companies trying to control their costs. So then more on a local basis, what we can do to try to increase get a better price, I guess, or is clean up the stream, right? So plastic bags are a big nuisance to us, the recyclers and the processing facilities, because even if you have your plastic bag and you put all your recycling in the kitchen, in a plastic bag, and you bring it up to the back of the house and put it in the bin, that bag, when it gets put through these shredders that they run to get all the recyclables out of there, those bags can get clogged up in the machines, and they shut their lines down and sort out that plastic. So what we've been asking our customers is to go bagless when they do put their recycling into their bin, or put it in a paper bag. And that way it will avoid that problem. And your plastic bags you could take back to your Jewel, or all over the place they have recycling for plastic bags. And then also just non-recyclable items, as I mentioned, pizza boxes, styrofoam,
The hangers.
the hangers we
plastic
talked
and-
about. Certain hangers we'd ask that you bring them back to your dry cleaner instead of putting them in the recycling. So those are just a few different types of things that can contaminate the stream. Interesting enough, increased volumes. We have seen people recycling more, which is great. That's what we want, right? We want to divert the material from the landfill and put it in recycling. But what that has actually caused, when there's a overabundance of supply, then the demand goes down and the pricing goes down as well. And then, as Manager Keener had mentioned, is smaller packaging. So you go to any store now, you can see that they're trying to make their material costs as low as possible, the manufacturers, so they're making everything as small as possible, and then it is more energy intensive to actually change that recycling, whatever material it is, into a new bottle or what have you. So that is a good outline of the positives that have been done in the village, right, to better the recycling participation, and then talk about the challenges that we face as a community, as an industry, and as a business on how we are going to approach this going forward. So I did just include the verbiage or the language in the agreement that we have with the village, and talking about how if these things continue, or if pricing goes negative, how we can speak to the village and ask for a rebate. As I mentioned, this decision to come to you and ask for this was not taken lightly. Over the past 18 months, we've decided as a business to absorb the cost, because we feel that our relationship with you is very valuable, and we want to make sure that we protect that. But we wanted to bring this to you because we feel like at this point, if it continues to go lower, when do you come to the board and say, we want to talk about this? So this is more formally coming to you to say, this has been going on for quite some time. We've been talking about it with the manager, and we want to bring it to you to have you be aware of it and just see what we can do about it. So I also wanted to show you over the past year what the costs look like, and how much this looks like on paper. So as you can see, about a year ago, it was only about 27 cents a house. And we felt like, okay, we see ebb and flows in the commodities market. Normally what you see actually is gearing up to Christmas, when manufacturers are making the materials that you're going to buy for Christmas. That plays a lot actually into the amount that's paid for recycling. So normally you'll see, in that time pricing is high, and then right before Christmas hits, and several months after, you're going to see a dip, right? So you're going to be in the negative. So we understand that as a business, and we compensate for that. But when you consistently see it over a year period or 18-month period, you kind of have to say, okay, the historic trends are not the way they were before. How do we go about and fix this? So we made new arrangements on transporting the material, taking it to different facilities to get better pricing, all those things we've done, and we wanted to share this with you tonight. So just to put it in the presentation here, our thoughts that we had discussed with the manager were some sort of look-back period where you can see what the true cost of the material was previous month, previous quarter, whatnot, and then say, okay, this is what it costs. How do we go about approaching it? So with that, I appreciate your time, and I would love to answer any questions that the board would have or people in the audience. So thank you very much.
Sure, sure. Well, we'll start with if there's anybody in the audience. We'll go with there. Okay. Seeing none, then we'll toss it up to the board then. Anybody on the board? Okay. Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome.
First off, I would just say I think that Roy Strom is a great vendor for us, and in many small things, they've been very cooperative with us. Little things like the tree at the Joyful Traditions, and they've always been responsive, and I think they're a great contractor. Just a question about recycled material. Not all recycled material is, I mean, for example, isn't aluminum still relatively a good market for that?
May come as a surprise. Aluminum specifically may be still somewhat okay, but the scrap metal market in general is seeing a very significant downturn. In fact, some of the local large business scrap businesses have gone out of business in the past year because scrap pricing is so low. In fact, we do quite a bit of scrap removal, and pricing for that is for just mixed steel is negative right now. So aluminum specifically would probably pay, but not like it would a couple of years ago.
And I have read articles about just what you've highlighted, that the market, specifically China, there's not as much a demand anymore, and I certainly understand that. And I think aren't there certain recyclers in the Chicagoland area that have gone out of business as well?
Mm-hmm.
So, just my thought on this, I certainly don't want them to bear a hardship, and I can see the basis, their argument. Just my question would be is, number one, I would not like to see us landfill recycle. I think it just sends a bad message to people. But my question is if the board grants this, that we're charged additional, how would we know, for example, if the market rebounds and recycled commodities become more valuable, how would we know that, okay, maybe it's...
Oh, definitely, and that's the look back is a great tool for that. I mean, we use that for the fuel surcharge program that we had, and granted, you're paying, you're playing catch up a little bit, but at the same time, when it's over, it's over, and we hope that it's over quickly, and that way maybe this never even takes, but I don't see that necessarily happening. But we saw it with the fuel surcharge where, it's on a quarterly basis, so first quarter you never paid into it, but at the back end you were paying a few months extra.
So I'm in favor of, obviously I don't want them to bear the hardship of this additional cost, so I'd be in favor of maybe them reaching some agreement with staff on this. I just think, it's just a little footnote, the people can reduce their recycling by making smart purchases. For example, plastic bottles. And talk about plastic bags, there's been a movement around the country by communities to kind of try and eliminate or outlaw plastic bags. I'm not suggesting that Villa Park would do that. I'm just saying it's been done around the country. And there's plenty of evidence of plastic pollution in our oceans, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all I have.
Okay, great, thank you. Anybody else? Trustee Case.
You guys are a great company, but what are some of the other collection agencies doing?
Sure. As I mentioned in one of the other companies, they currently are not accepting glass, which is if you look at the weight breakdown of the material, if you had a plastic bottle versus a glass bottle, it's heavier, and they're charged by the ton. So that's some of the things that they're doing to try to get out of it. Other ones have the option to landfill, and other haulers have been doing the same request for this fee. That's really the options that are available, and kind of the whole industry is following the trend.
You're good, Trustee Case? All good?
Yeah.
Okay, Trustee Taglia.
Well, I just want to say thanks, George, for coming, and thank you for the great service that your company has given to the village over the years. I know we all appreciate it. But in terms of increase, according to the slide you showed, we're about 48 cents per household. Is that the increase you're looking for?
Yeah, that was. This is what we're saying it cost. Obviously,
Sure.
if the village wanted to.
Yeah, I just wanted
Yeah,
people to have an idea of what you're looking for.
Be for the month of February. That's what it
Right,
was.
so what we're looking at is potentially all of us paying 48 cents a month extra on our garbage bill until this situation passes, and
Something like
hopefully it
that,
happens quickly. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was
Yeah.
clear. All right, thank you.
Yes, Trustee Volkers.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think we want to get this stuff in a landfill.
No.
It's negative what we've been trying to do over all these years to keep people to recycle more. But you are looking for some direction on what the village should do. The village is looking for direction. The village to absorb this, if we were to absorb it, we're talking about $40,000 a year. That's a lot of money. So I think the proposal is, if we took a look back, is the look back period going to be a year?
No. This is just to show you what we've been dealing with.
Right.
And obviously, maybe it would be if this was approved at the end of this month or something like that, looking back 1 month. So last month would start, and if it ended the following month, it'd be over with.
Well, because I'm thinking,
Or a blended
we
rate or
really,
something.
the pass through, like in February, 48 cents. We'd have to come up with a certain amount.
Right.
And we can't be adjusting that all the time. So, so we have to come up with an average amount that the village would have to pass on to the residents. If you averaged all that out, I didn't do it, but the current cost down there, you go from 78 cents to 48 cents. So 50 cents in that area looks like maybe an acceptable amount. But, I don't think the village wants to readjust their garbage bills to the residents every month, not even every 3 months. I think we should come up with a dollar amount, that we can do that's maybe a half a year or a year. And that's what 50 cents for the year. And if you average it out, that probably would do it. And then if, after a while, if the recycling gets to be more profitable, then we could just make it go away. So my suggestion would be to look back, come up with some averages, and use that dollar amount, 50 cents or whatever it is, and put that in place, because I think we probably have to change our ordinance to do that. That's why we don't want to do it every month. And set that 50 cents or 48 cents or 45 cents, whatever that would come out to. So that would be my suggestion.
Okay.
Because I don't think the village wants to absorb, $40,000 a year. But even if we made it 50 cents or 48 cents and it turned out to be 78 cents, well, okay, we will absorb that for maybe another 6 months or a year. So,
The difference.
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
Say
Thank you.
49.
The difference, yeah.
Let's settle on 49.
Did you have anything?
Just a couple
Trustee
quick
Gazon.
ones. What percentage of the recycling, the stream, actually ends up landfill? You know, that it's
Yeah.
either contaminated or Rich's pizza boxes, you know?
They-
No, you will not.
when it's
You're on the record.
when it's sorted,
Pizza bus.
it gets a grade A to F, and normally the village's grade is around a B or a C. Specific volume based on how much is landfill to that, I'd have to look and I could get you that information.
I was just curious. If that percentage went more to A, does that affect the price on it?
Yes,
So if you know, we clean up our recycling stream, it would be a lot better
it'd be better, yeah.
financially.
Correct.
And then one of the things you were saying is that even if it's an increase in the recycling stream, that's actually not going to help anything. So it would be more advantageous to clean up the recycling stream versus increasing the quantity
Right.
going through it.
Right, and that's one thing that I didn't mention during the presentation, but, you know, we like to use the lingo, you know, when in doubt, throw it out. That's kind of what I always say to people that are asking questions. And a lot of articles that I've read, the philosophy has kind of changed over the more recent years of, you know, well, when in doubt, recycle it. Because they'll pick through it and get it out of there. And if it is recyclable, then I did a good job. So we try to go back to that, you know, put the good stuff in there, and the volume may decrease a little bit, but you have better material, you know, so that's something.
Thanks.
Okay. Trustee Case.
Did you say those magnets were sent out to the residents?
I believe they were in the
They were
newsletter?
delivered to every household in with the Parks and Rec brochure. So they were, and this was at least a year ago.
I got it.
Yeah, I got
Hanging
mine.
in my refrigerator.
I think,
I
yeah.
know.
You should have more.
I never received
wow.
one because
Every
I just
single-
learned a lot about recycling.
Yeah, every single
And it would
household.
make me not recycle, honestly.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and go through everything.
Oh
It's out,
right.
it's out now, you know, but I never received the information on
Oh,
this.
I'm okay.
I'm not blaming you, but I
Yeah.
think as a village should send out more information
Sure.
to teach more people about it, if that's gonna help out.
Definitely, and that's one of the things that's always on the table is we're always available to give any education that the village is looking for. In the past, we've done kind of a little Q&A on the public access channel, and we have material on our website. We'd be happy to do as much education as the village and the board deems necessary.
We've had
certainly.
articles in the newsletter too. Maybe we can do another one for the next issue.
Sure.
This one's just been
The
put
Go
to bed.
Bagless
but-
thing, I feel like, is something that would be helpful to a lot of the residents, letting them know, but we'd prefer it if they didn't put their material in a plastic bag.
Question for you. You mentioned what the other vendors, waste and recycling vendors are doing, but what are other municipalities doing? 'Cause I haven't had a chance to reach out to my counterparts, but
Yeah.
as we do research and provide guidance to the staff,
They've
what
done-
have you heard? I'm gonna do some research too.
Yeah.
What have you heard?
Well, one of them went and did a averaged out number, 50 cents on their bill when the term came. You know, and you have your adjustment.
Yeah,
They just blended it in,
okay.
and that's kind of what the other ones have just absorbed it, depending on their situation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll do a little more research on that too.
Sure.
And speaking of absorption, I asked the manager to convey to the residents all that the village has absorbed in regards to these different fees that we've seen. You know, one fee that came up was the fuel surcharge. We did not pass that on to the residents. The village took that on. And so the manager wants to kind of,
Sure.
with that, kind of piggyback on that
Sure.
and share some of the other things that we've absorbed. Yes, you do. He whispered in my ear off camera.
I'd be happy to talk about some of that stuff too.
Yes.
So, yeah, we could do that, just to give everybody an idea.
Some time ago, when the cost of fuel was over the 350 mark or so, diesel was up there also. And now that the fuel prices have dropped considerably, the fuel charge has went away. That's one of the components contained within our contract, is when it reaches a certain threshold, then there's a surcharge added to the monthly invoices from Roy Strom, Inc. as a village, we absorb the electronic recycling. We do not pass that on to the citizens. So once a month, on I think the third Saturday from 9 to noon, when folks bring their old computers and TVs, and we transport that to the recycler, we do not pass that on. And lately, that's been very expensive, probably right around $3,000 a month. And that's in the bill listing, and sometimes there's 3 or 4 different transportation of all that product. When there's certain brush pickups, we do not pass that on to the residents. We absorb that. When there's a storm and it's necessary to haul debris away, things of that nature, we don't pass that on to the residents. We absorb that. So if there's a flooding incident and there's carpeting, there's other debris brought to the curb, we do not pass that on to the resident. We absorb that. If there's damage to trees and large branches, things of that nature, and Roy Strom takes that away, we do not pass that on. We absorb that. So we do absorb as much as we can without passing on to the resident. However, this would be about 40,000 or maybe a little bit more on an annual basis, which is quite a bit. So thank you, Anna.
Okay. Anybody else? Any other thoughts? I know this is a lot to absorb. We need to give staff some direction. One thing I'd like the staff to do is find out what the other municipalities do. I'll talk to my counterparts too, but if we could find out, what they're doing, you said that this is a global situation, so it's not just something that Villa Park is dealing with, that other municipalities are too. So and then also cost averaging too, as Trustee Bolfus had mentioned, so we can do that and try and figure out where we land there. Okay, is there any other ideas? We're kind of on a fact-finding mission right now, trying to figure out what to do with this, so. No, we did before, but now, yeah. We
Just a quick 30 seconds. Lake Forest
Yeah.
is a site that you can drop off stuff. They have
Like-
dumpsters. You segregate it yourself. It's open Saturday and Sunday. It works beautifully.
Okay, well, we'll check with Lake Forest. When we want to talk to other municipalities, that's what I'm talking about, reaching out to other municipalities. So we'll put Lake Forest down on the list for sure, though. Thank you. We're going to look at a lot of others too, but that's good to know as we do our research. Is there anything else, though, from the board, since we're dealing with the board now? So. No? Is that
You
good?
got it.
Okay. Do you have any other questions, Manager Keener?
I don't. Thank you.
You good? Okay.
All right.
All right, I think we're good.
Thank
I know
you.
we'll be in touch with you as we
Sure.
figure this out and
I appreciate your time.
yeah.
So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for this presentation. It puts it a lot in perspective.
No problem. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. Okay. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna move on to item number 7, 'cause I think part of the agenda got misnumbered, so we should be at item number 7 now. I got it right? Yeah.
Yeah, there's
No, yeah, item 6 was presentation on recycling, so now item number 7.
We'll just
Was
go
it?
with the
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah, there was no 6. The 6 was the presentation on the recycling that we just
I
saw.
must have typed it.
Yes. It's all right. I fixed mine. Item number
Just
7,
read the right
consider an
number.
ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending section 14-207C, no parking zones of the Village of Villa Park Municipal Code. Manager Keener.
Thank you. Due to the installation of a new water main on Princeton Avenue between Terrace Street and Ridge Road, it has become necessary to modify the parking restrictions on Princeton Avenue. The proposed ordinance would update the village code to comply with the village standard of prohibiting parking along the fire hydrant side of the street. Staff recommends an amendment of the Villa Park Municipal Code to section 14-207C, no parking zones. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the public in regards to this item on the agenda? We have a few folks from the public here. Okay, seeing none, I'll toss up to the board. Any questions or comments from the board in regards to this item?
Standard procedure.
Standard procedure, yes. Nothing new there. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Okay, Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
President Bowico?
Yes. Item number 8, consider resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing agreements with benefits provider. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think I tossed it up. There we go. The Village of Villa Park has insurance coverage for their employees, retirees, and other covered employees that renews on July 1st, 2016. The current carrier for health insurance is Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, and no rate changes are proposed for this fiscal year. It is recommended that the village again renews coverage at a total cost of $2,931,736. Village contributions towards the cost is $2,048,256. In addition, the village has a self-insured dental plan through Delta Dental of Illinois, which has a 13% increase proposed for this plan year. It is recommended the village renews their coverage at a total cost of $155,558. Village contributions towards that is $50,375. Life insurance is provided by Fort Dearborn Life. The village contributions towards that is $9,877. Self-insured vision provided by Vision Service Plan. Village contributions towards that is $16,064. EAP, which is Employee Assistance Program, services provided by Edward Health Ventures, formerly Elmhurst Hospital Guidance. Village contributions towards that particular benefit is $3,887. And WageWorks administers the IRS Section 125 Flexible Benefit Services. Village contributions towards that is service is $1,800. The village also sponsors wellness programs through FluEase, CHC Wellness, and Virgin Pulse. The village cost approximately $20,519. The fiscal year 2016-2017 budget provides funding for these benefits. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the public regards to this item? Seeing none. Okay. Questions and comments from the board, and we do have our Human Resources Director, wears a lot of different hats here. So if we have any questions, you want to come on up just in case? So, all right. Do we have any questions? Okay. Trustee Wagner.
So the vision plan and the dental, we're self-insured. I assume that we've figured out that it's more cost-effective for us to do it that way. Is that?
Janet Gorman, our Human Resources Manager.
Mr. Strong.
Wears a lot of, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, we have been self-insured as long as I've been here, which is almost 25 years. So basically what that means is that we pay a small administrative fee, and then we pay whatever the actual costs are. So it's definitely less expensive than insuring. The reason we insure our health insurance commercially is because that's a higher cost plan than our dental and our vision. Our dental and vision have upper limits that are a lot lower. So it's just not as costly. So we're able to better kind of manage our cost on dental and vision. Health insurance, it's fully insured with Blue Cross and Blue Shield. So they take the risk. We don't have that risk. And that's been like that 20 or more years now. So, does that help?
Yes, thank you. That's
okay.
all I had.
Okay. Anybody else? I just have a couple quick questions.
Okay.
What's the overall increase to the village? And then what's the overall increase that's being passed on to the
Okay, there's
employees?
no increase in the health insurance this year, which is phenomenal.
That is amazing.
Yeah, we did migrate to a new HMO plan to get us, so that gave us an additional 2% to keep it at the current rates. The dental plan went up, but it's really averages out to only about $5 per premium cost. I mean, it sounds like a lot at 13%,
Right.
but that's really the only area that we had any kind of an increase. And again, if we have a really good year, it's really all based on how good or bad a year we have because we are self-insured. So other than that, we had no increases in any of our other plans.
Wow.
So I think you can see the impact of Affordable Care Act on some of this. Our broker told us that they think, though, that Blue Cross Blue Shield has 2 HMO plans and that they're trying to kind of get their economies of scale in line, so that's why they encouraged us to switch to the other plan, and there's no disruption to any of our employees, and there's no change in the coverage. So it's just a migration. So we took the 2%, because 2% of 3 million is a lot of money.
Right.
So,
Okay.
I got one.
Yes,
Yeah.
Trustee
On the
Bolfus.
vision and the dental coverage, the employees have a choice to participate, or they don't have to?
yes, we do pay for only the single coverage, so.
Only the employee?
Only the employee single coverage, and then the employees pay for their dependent care. So they pick up 100% of the family rate, and we pick up for every employee we pay for single coverage. But they can opt out if they don't want to be in it. What we're seeing a little bit, which is interesting, again with affordable health care, is that a lot of our younger employees coming in who are under age 26 are staying on their parents' plan. And so once they hit 26, they're
They
able.
can do that.
Well, they're doing it.
That's
and,
not legal.
And, well, they're doing
If
it.
they get a job, they can't be on their parents'
We offer them the program, but many of them are opting
Well,
to
they're-
stay on
They're
their.
asking for trouble.
Well,
I've
I-
been through this. you
Yeah,
know.
I don't know how their parents' plans work because
Yeah.
we don't control that part of it.
Yeah.
But we are seeing that
I'd
there are.
recommend you tell them they're taking a big risk.
Well,
They
again.
should definitely look into that.
Yeah, we definitely give them the whole talk when they come in,
Yeah.
but we are seeing that with some of our younger people.
How many employees chose to have the dental and vision coverage?
Well, we have almost 100% coverage.
Oh, really?
Because we pay for the single rate.
Right, okay.
So, now whether or not they take the dependent coverage, I don't have those numbers right in front of me. But
How many employees do we have?
we have about 150 that are full-time employees or full-time equivalent, because that's also now part of the Affordable Care Act.
Okay.
So, and then we have another maybe 30 or more retirees that also pay 100% of their premiums. So we don't, there's a few that are subsidized through previous contracts, but, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else while we're on topic? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Okay, Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Taglia.
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
President Bullwinkle.
Yes. Item number 9, consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving the purchase of a John Deere terrain mower through the Rock Island County Joint Purchase Agreement in the amount of $40,992.51. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Get a little discount there.
Staff recommends that the village purchase one John Deere 1575 terrain cut mower with a 72-inch cutting deck, 60-inch snow blower, and a 60-inch rotary broom from Circle Tractor of Homer Glen for $40,992.51 under the Rock Island County Joint Purchase Agreement. Funds will be taken out of the Parks Capital Outlay Account 36-502-02-401. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the public in regards to this item? Seeing none? Okay, how about the board? Anybody from the board?
I have one.
Trustee Bolfus.
Will this come out of this fiscal year or the next fiscal year?
This fiscal year.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Anybody else? Okay, continuing with our equipment replacement program. This one was pretty old, wasn't it?
Yes, very old.
Just running them into the ground. Does this one, did it show like one of our vehicles actually was almost like a Fred Flintstone vehicle where you could see the ground below, the metal had worn out so much? Is that, I hope it didn't get that bad.
Well, this particular piece of equipment that the new mower would be replacing transcends all of our employees. It's was purchased before most of our, well, all of our employees were employed. And then we had a dealer representative come visit us, and he's never seen it before, even predated him. So we've definitely got our money out of this particular John Deere tractor that
You're
we're using
talking
now.
30 plus years?
Yeah, it's
Something like that?
20-something probably.
20-something? Wow, regardless, that's a long time. Yeah.
Well,
Greg Goll, our
it's-
Director of Parks and Rec.
It's outdated, everybody but Dave Elliott.
Wow.
Dave Elliott's been here for 30 years, but the mower's about 20 years old.
Good Lord, okay.
And it's still in working condition. It's just getting at that age, and we would still use it as a.
Okay, that was gonna be my question.
In case of emergencies, we use it as an emergency mower.
Jeez. Take a picture of it and send it to whoever, is it a John Deere?
It is.
Oh,
It is.
okay. It's an antique. Okay, great. Thank you. All right, anything else? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Taglia,
Yes.
trustee Bolfus.
Yes.
Trustee Case,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
President Bullwinkle.
Yes. Okay, item number 10 on the Committee of the Whole is consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a proposal between the village and GNP Energy for a street lighting system by the North Avenue Townhomes, the amount of $104,054. Andrew Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has identified the need to install streetlights by the North Avenue Townhomes to increase public safety. Village staff requests authorization to approve the proposal in the amount of $104,054 from GNP Energy to install new lighting system in this area. Funds will be taken out of account 29-50201-299 for this improvement. And Your Honor and Board, these would be the black lights that have been proposed in the memorandum. So not the silver, if you will, that will make it look like an industrial area. We decided to go with the black lighting,
More decorative.
more decorative to kind of improve the area. Thank you, Your Honor.
And this fund that you referenced, that's the TIF fund, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, all right. Any questions or comments from the public? I see we have some folks from the North Avenue Townhomes.
Anita
Hello.
LaPianca from 909 through 925 West North Avenue. The only concerns I have, of course, are that we want, or we would like, I should say, for the lights to be aesthetic and not create a commercial or industrial appearance, since there's going to be 18 of them, is my understanding, along the front sidewalks.
There's only 10.
So that was our primary concern. Our secondary concern is the level of the lighting, because if you're putting a lot of light out to make it visible for the police officers and public safety, we want to make sure that it doesn't intrude into the bedrooms of the residents. So I was measuring today. The bottom of the bedroom windows is about 16 feet off the ground. So I do have some concern about the height of the lights. It's a small space, and the lights will be about 15 feet, 10 to 15 feet from some of the bedroom windows. So that is a concern for us. The other issue was the strength of the light, and what the head is going to look like. Has anybody come up with a decision regarding that? No?
Yes.
Yes.
Staff can answer all of those questions, so. Oh,
I think that's it. The aesthetics are our primary
Right.
concern, and, 18, I think it's been decided, right?
10. 10 lights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's our primary concern, that it's aesthetic and pleasing, not, in an industrial zone, and again, the bedrooms, that the light should not intrude into the bedrooms of the occupants.
Okay. Well, we'll address.
Oh. Of course, the trees. We want to preserve the trees. We don't want the trees to be cut to accommodate lighting, because I just want to state how we feel about this. I know that there's some plan to try and work with the trees and not cut them down initially, so.
Yeah, we're not talking about that now.
Okay,
So, yeah.
so that's what I have.
Talking lights right now. I want to see how this works. So
Okay.
I'll toss it back to, well, is there anybody else in the public that would like to say anything first and foremost before we good? Okay. We're going to toss it up to the board, have some conversation up here. And anybody on the board have any questions first? And we'll get to your questions there. There might be other things that we can address at the same time. Trustee Case?
Are these lights on village property or on the townhome property?
No, village.
It's village property?
Village on the Parkway.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Anybody else from the board? Anybody? Questions? Okay. I'm going to ask the manager. He's going to answer some of the questions, not all the questions that that you raised, so we anticipated that, so.
Yes, the proposal is for 10 lights. They'll be located in public right-of-way. So if you can picture the North Avenue townhomes on the north side, you've got the frontage road, followed by a little bit of green area, followed by the sidewalk, followed by more green area, and then the front of the buildings. So the lights will be located to the north of the sidewalk and right-of-way. And certainly we can adjust the light heads so that the lights don't shine into the bedrooms, etc. We wouldn't do that anyway. The whole purpose of the lights is to provide additional public safety, to eliminate the possibility of graffiti and things of that nature. And the original proposal was 18, but that was a cost of probably about $175,000. So through the Police Department of Public Works, we kind of honed the proposal down to 10 lights positioned throughout that particular area to reduce the cost to almost $105,000. And so we did take into consideration the color to make it less industrialized, so it'll be black if it's approved this evening. We're also taking a look at the opportunity to hang some banners on there to kind of make it more pleasing, and maybe some Christmas decorations also. So thank you, Your Honor.
And how tall will they be?
If I'm not
What's the
mistaken, Your
height?
Honor, I think it's 30 feet.
30 feet, okay. And I see our Police Chief Pavlicek is here. Is there anything else that you would like to add in regards to the public safety angle at all? Because I know our police spend a lot of time out at the North Avenue townhomes on foot, patrolling, answering calls and that type of thing. So Chief Ron Rakosnik, our fire chief, is there anything else that you would like to add? Since y'all are here, I'm looking at you. Well, if you want to, oh, well, we're addressing that later.
Do I need to sign it?
No, no, don't have to, unless you want to.
The biggest concern we have would be the drive, that drive aisle.
Right.
One parking on one side, that's our biggest complaint. We
Yeah.
have a lot of difficulty getting in there.
Yeah.
Especially when it's snowing out, so.
Yeah, we're addressing that with IDOT,
Yeah,
actually,
that's
so
not-
we're gonna
nothing
have
with
a
the lights.
meeting.
The lights will help us, but it's more that,
Yeah.
parking on one side.
Yeah. We're gonna be addressing the parking next through a meeting with IDOT and residents of the North Avenue townhomes too, so working on getting that established. We're kind of at the beck and call of IDOT, so they're getting close to a date, so. Okay, anybody else from the board? Oh, Trustee Wagner.
And just to be, so this is being funded through TIF funds, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
That's all I have.
Okay. Anything else? We good down there? You good? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Taglia.
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
President Bullwinkle.
Yes. Okay, item number 11 is convened to the formal agenda. So we will do that. Okay. Okay, under the formal agenda, item number 1 is Village President's Report. I've just asked for my typical updates on various progress reports that are going on, and projects, I should say, in the village. We've got Park Boulevard going on right now, the Ardmore Streetscape. There's lighting that's being installed, and so we've got a member of Public Works, Rich Salerno, unless the manager wants to give some updates too. You guys can arm wrestle just on what's going on.
Well, thank
Some
you, Your Honor.
updates.
Mr. Salerno was a little nervous about coming to the podium, so.
Yeah, he wasn't as anxious
He-
as Vitas Jascalis usually is. so.
He asked me if I would do it for him, so he didn't have to come to the podium. So it's okay.
That works.
So, Your Honor, Park Boulevard, they've actually put together a little synopsis for me. But on Park Boulevard, it's moving along. The storm sewer has been installed under the Prairie Path, and all remaining storm sewer work should be completed within the next 2 weeks. Work continues to progress on the water service replacement. So hopefully, within the next 2 to 3 weeks, all underground work will be done at Park Boulevard, and then they'll start on the street resurfacing. Ardmore Streetscape, both the general contractor and the electrical contractor have resumed work. The electrician is working to install unit duct and light pole foundations. The general contractor is working to complete the remaining concrete work on the west side of the street and will resume asphalt work when asphalt becomes available. And if I'm not mistaken, Your Honor and Board and folks at home, I think the asphalt plants will be open around April 18th, 19th, someplace around there. So that should be very helpful. North Princeton water main, we talked about earlier, but the contractor anticipates starting back up at the end of this week. Grades have been provided for the concrete work. The South Monterey Culvert Replacement Project, the asphalt plants are expected to open next week. If they do, restoration work will begin next week, and we'll finalize the culvert replacement project. So that's all I have tonight, Your Honor, for the capital improvement updates.
Okay. And I didn't give you a heads up on this, but I'll ask anyway. And if you don't, we can talk about it later. Do we know what the timeline will be for the IDOT traffic signal at Roosevelt Road and Villa Avenue? I know you've been working a lot on that, so I figured you wouldn't mind me asking that.
That's a very interesting question. That particular IGA was approved during the last board meeting, and they still have to acquire some property, I believe, and go through a number of other exercises. So it would be my hope that maybe this fall they could start early next spring. I can clarify that with IDOT when we meet with them on North Avenue Townhomes.
Yeah, that sounds good. I know it's a moving target. It's complicated. And then do we know anything more about the St. Charles Road Bridge project, too? Do we know where that's going?
We do, and Your Honor, I have to apologize. We'll have to have Mr. Salerno come to the mic.
Okay. He's on the edge of his seat, I can tell. Just wondering when that project's going to be. I know they tell you one date and then it gets moved, and that's a moving target too, but we're going to want to batten down the hatches for that one.
Unfortunately, yes, that is a moving target with Illinois Department of Transportation and their share of it. So funds have been on a hold for quite some time through the state's budget. So
right. Yeah,
we're looking to move forward as soon as possible.
Yeah, just we're at the mercy of the state.
Unfortunately.
Okay. All right, I had to ask. And then under the economic development umbrella, we've heard about, Harley wildfire, Harley-Davidson, that's under construction now. That's finally moving. And the outlot at the North Park Plaza, North Park Mall, where the Chipotle and the Dunkin' Donuts and several other businesses are going to be going. That's up. And I'm just wondering what the timeline is on the outlot at North Park Mall Plaza. When is that scheduled to be done? Do we know what the completion date is on that?
Your Honor, I believe that some of those folks want to be up and operational by June.
That's what
so
I
they're
thought.
moving ahead full steam so that they can be operational in June. And that's the way I understand it currently.
Okay, summerish. And then how about wildfire Harley-Davidson? How's that one going?
They're going, wildfire is going full speed ahead, and I would suspect that they would like to be operational in June, just in time for the motorcycle season. And as folks, if you remember, that part of that development is a training area.
Right.
And so I think the sooner that the asphalt plants open, probably the better for wildfires, because some of that will be asphalt, concrete, etc. And then once it's done, they can actually train the folks who are purchasing motorcycles right on the site. So thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Kind of like what they do at MCC on St. Charles Road. They kind of do a little bit of that in the parking lot there. So
That is correct.
okay, sounds good. And then just a couple other quick little announcements. There is a prescribed or planned burn scheduled for tomorrow, Tuesday, April 12th at Twin Lakes. It's going to be near Belden and Princeton Avenues. The purpose of the burn is to maintain healthy native plants, kind of keep everything in control there. So if you see any fire, it's on purpose. So just want to give you a heads up. But if you have any questions about it, you can call Public Works at 630-834-8505 with any questions. We put a lot of these announcements out on our Facebook page, also on our Twitter. We try to get the information out there as often as we possibly can. So if you haven't liked our Facebook page for the village, or you're on Twitter and you're into that, there's just 2 more opportunities for you to stay informed there. There's also a document shredding event coming up on Saturday, April 16th. It's going to be in the parking lot at Villa Avenue and St. Charles Road. That's where you've got Mike's Meat Market and several other at the bank. Looks like State Representative Deb Conroy, along with the Old Town Villa Avenue businesses and AT&T, which is a sponsor of this, will be hosting the shred event from 9 to 12. And you can bring, I think they're limiting it up to 2 boxes per person, but if you have anything you want to get rid of and you want to shred, this weekend is an opportunity to do that between 9 and noon. Also, we have a prescription drug take-back program at the police department. We've done this in the past, and this is going to be coming again on Saturday, April 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Villa Park Police Department in the lobby there. They will, looks like they're doing this in conjunction with the Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA. So you can bring prescription and over-the-counter medications, and if you don't have them in the bottles, you can put them in bags, and they'll dispose of them properly. So you can bring them between 10 and 2 to the police department, and they can get rid of them for you. So don't flush them down the toilet. Whatever you do, don't do that. Also, just wanted to give another heads up that and this is also on our village website, but in recent weeks, the Villa Park Police Department has received several reports of IRS frauds. I myself have received the really weird phone calls stating that I'm going to get sued by the IRS. A lot of people are getting those phone calls, apparently. I've gotten 2 or 3 in a week. They're fake, they're fraud. So if you happen to get any of these phone calls, first of all, don't call them back. Don't panic. Most likely, unless you know for sure you're getting sued. It's a fake. And just don't send any payment. Don't do anything that they're saying that you have to do. Contact our local police department. You can call 911 and report it. But just want to kind of put that on your radar that don't pay any attention to it. It's fake. Okay. That is all that I have on my list here. So I'm going to move on to item number 2 under the formal, public comments on agenda items. This is in regards to items 4 and 5 on the formal. So if anybody has anything they would like to approach about regarding 4 and 5 on the formal, now's your chance. Okay. Seeing none, I'm going to move on to item number 3, amendments of the agenda. Does anybody on the board have any amendments to the formal agenda? Pretty straightforward. Okay, good. We're going to move on to item number 4, the consent agenda. This is letters A through H. I'm just going to read the headings for the record in case you've come in a little late to the meeting. We can read this for you. A, bill listing dated April 11th, 2016 in the amount of $637,888.51. B, minutes from the Village Committee of the Whole meeting for March 28th, 2016. C, minutes from the Village Formal Board meeting for March 28th, 2016. D, minutes from the public hearing for March 28th, 2016. E, first and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending section 14-207C, no parking zones, of the Villa Park Municipal Code. F, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing agreements with benefits providers. G, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving the purchase of a John Deere terrain mower through the Rock Island County Joint Purchase Agreement in the amount of $40,992.51. And H, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a proposal between the village and GNP Energy for a street lighting system by the North Avenue Townhomes in the amount of $104,054. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Madam President,
Trustee Bolfus.
make a motion for the consent agenda.
Okay, do I have a second?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner.
I'll second that motion.
Great. Any additional questions and comments from the board? All good? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee
Thank you.
Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bowling?
Yes. Okay, item number 5 on the formal is final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, adopting an annual budget for the Village of Villa Park for all corporate purposes in lieu of an annual appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing on May 1st, 2016 and ending on April 30th, 2017. The village's fiscal year 2017 budget ordinance provides for the continued provision of village services as well as significant capital investment as discussed during the village's budget workshops held earlier this month. Any additional questions or comments from the board? We good? Oh, I'm sorry. Trustee Wagner.
Just a point of information.
Yes.
The last 2 budget hearings, or our last budget hearing, what's the statutory requirement in terms of number of votes for the budget? Because we only had, I think we had
Just a majority. For this ordinance, it would be a majority.
just a majority, okay.
So not a super majority.
No.
So that's 4.
That's all I had.
Okay, great. Anybody else? You guys good? No, yeah, I'm just making sure there's no other questions. Okay, roll call vote.
There's no motion, no second.
Oh, okay. Okay, need a motion on this then?
Madam President,
Yes.
make a motion to approve it.
Okay, do we have a second then?
Madam President, second.
Okay, now we'll do roll call vote.
Okay.
Yes.
Trustee
Sorry about that.
Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
President Bowie?
Yes. Item number 6, comments on non-agenda items. So if anybody in the audience has any non-agenda items, and I know there's at least one, I think you can come on up. Anybody else? Okay, all right. This is non-agenda items. You need to state your name for the record.
I'm sorry, I don't have a, I got it right.
Yes, there should be something there.
My name is Jim Erlenbaugh.
Yes.
Excuse me. I'm here representing the Royal Airs Drum and Bugle Corps tonight. A little history, we've,
I can give you 3 minutes, by the way, 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
Yes, I forgot to say that. So, get 3 minutes, because we have somebody else I think that wants to speak
Okay.
too, so. All right.
We started working here in the village, doing the 4th of July parade, Memorial Day services, Veterans Day services. We've done programs for the Park District and on the Christmas tree lighting program. And we've done all of this for nothing, no charge. But I have a very short letter here. Our Corps has been invited by Lord Mayor Duncan Sands, who is the great-grandson of Winston Churchill. And we've been invited to participate in their New Year's celebration in London. And we have to raise $140,000 to do that, to go there. But what we're asking the village to do is whatever they can do for us in the way of finances or advertising or something. We've been here for many years, doing lots of stuff for the village, and we're just asking for a little bit of help.
Okay.
So I'm going to give this to the village manager. This is our bigger letter.
Oh, okay.
Along with
With the ask.
501c3 tax.
Okay. All right. All right, great. Thank
And,
you.
We will be participating in the ceremonies at the new rededication of Cortese Park,
Yes,
and we're happy to do that.
that sounds good.
Can I ask him a question?
Of course.
If
Yes.
any residents just heard your request tonight over the television.
Pardon?
If any residents just heard your request for assistance and your $140,000 it was?
I don't know.
Okay, so can they contact you or somebody wanted to make a
We do,
donation
yes.
to you? Or where should it go?
It's in our bigger letter.
Well, you know.
Well, we want people to hear it
Yes.
I know.
that are tuning in now.
Well,
And we'll watch
with
over
the
and
Royal,
over
look for us on the www.royalairs.org
Okay.
or .com. It's under there. I can't remember what it is.
Well, because we want to make sure that the people at home, because it's a really
Yeah.
good question, yes.
Yeah, and we're also on the Fund Me thing on
Fund me.
on
Oh.
the internet.
Okay. Looks like you can donate online, GoFundMe, at www.theroyalairs.org. And then you can also mail donations to the Royal Airs Drum and Bugle Corps, P.O. Box 6542 in Villa Park, Illinois, 60181.
That is correct.
Okay.
Maybe we
have
could
fun.
get our public relations person to put that on the, out there and send
I
it to
bet
the
we can.
residents.
I bet we can, yeah.
Well, and I want to thank you in advance for your help
Sounds good.
and for letting me talk.
Okay, yes, this is your opportunity to do that, so no problem. And Manager Keener would like to add something to that.
Well, Your Honor, Board, I would suggest that the village manager accompany the Royal Heirs,
Oh.
just to make sure everything is copacetic.
I don't think he has any
It
vacation.
would only
days
cost
left.
you,
Right, to the Cortese Park
it
dedication.
would
sure.
only cost you $3,350.
Wow.
And that's round trip.
Wow.
And the five-star hotel, the only thing you have to provide for yourself is 6 meals. Everything
Wow.
else is paid for.
Wow.
Gee whiz.
That's interesting.
Wow.
And
It's an opportunity.
Lord Mayor Sands was here. He came here personally on the 21st of March
Oh.
and gave us our official invitation in a nice glass case thing. And everybody lined up and he shook everybody's hand and we all had our individual pictures taken with him. And we have one family had individual pictures taken with him and then the family picture with him. And we are the only all-age drum corps in Illinois. And our all-age goes from
Right.
6th grader to myself. And I'm still active at 81 years old in June.
Yeah, that's great.
So never give up.
No. Well, thank you. We appreciate all that great information. Okay. I think, do we have one more person who wants to speak non-agenda items? Did I miscount? I want to make sure. Yes, okay. Come on up.
Anita LeCount again. I just wanted to know if there was any progress made with the rest of the complex concerning the garbage and the alley issues.
Okay. And Peter.
Yes, we received a proposal from Roy Strom Company to actually pick up the refuge at your North Avenue townhomes. That proposal, I believe, was given to the Homeowner Association Director, Maria, if I'm not mistaken. And I have not received word if that was a possibility yet to be accepted. I believe they were also discussing another scenario with the current carrier, Crowbar Company, I believe. So at this point, that's all I know. And we are trying to establish a meeting with IDOT to discuss the frontage road, relocation of the steel barrier to create additional room so that the fire and police vehicles can get through. And really, that's all I have at this time.
Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, we have to come back up to the podium. We can't hear you. Yeah, people at home can't hear you.
And any progress on what's going on with the alley improvements or repairs to the massive potholes?
Well, as you're aware, and folks at home, you might not be, but the North Avenue Townhomes has the alley to the south of the buildings, which is included in their property. So not only do they have a property identification number with their townhome, but they have a property identification number with that section of alley, if you will, or roadway that they also own. So when you take a look at the 18 buildings of North Avenue Townhomes, on the south side, there is the roadway which runs east and west, and each of the property owners in North Avenue Townhomes, there's approximately 108 units. Each of those property owners owns a piece of the roadway. So it isn't a roadway that's owned by the village, and it's not a roadway that's owned by one owner. It's a roadway owned by many different owners. And say, for instance, that your piece of roadway is 30 feet by 60 feet, and you're responsible to maintain that, and some folks haven't. So if you were to drive up there and take a look at that particular area, some have massive potholes that are very similar to the moon craters, and some other deficiencies which will be hopefully corrected in the near future. But the unfortunate aspect of this is that code enforcement will be visiting that particular area as code enforcement visits all areas of the Village of Villa Park. And for those particular property owners that cannot adhere to standards established by village code, then code enforcement will issue citations to those property owners, and then they'll be within adjudication system if that's not corrected in a timely manner. And if it's not corrected after coming here to adjudication, that there'll be more citations and until there's adherence to the correction of those deficiencies deficiencies, but one of the major deficiencies of that area is the downspouts and the runoff of stormwater. Some of those downspouts are maybe 10 feet off the ground, and when they come down, they actually do a lot of damage when the water comes down out of the spout and does damage. So any repairs to that particular roadway will have to have stormwater addressed. Otherwise, you're just throwing good money or bad money after good money because the effects of stormwater in that particular area. So thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, any other public comments? Okay, you have one more?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I don't know
sure.
if I mentioned that we are a 501c3 not-for-profit organization, and all donations are tax deductible.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Good to hear that again. It's good to know. It's not easy getting a 501c3. It takes a lot of time, so thank you for that. Anybody else from the public? Are we good? Okay, then we're going to move on to item number 7, Village Clerk's Report. Anything for us tonight?
Yes, I just want to remind the seniors, we have a senior fair coming up on May 5th, and that is at the Community Recreation Building on Wildwood. Right.
May
I'll say
5th, yeah.
Firewood. From 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It'll be like last year's, except probably better. I expect it'll be better. We are looking for nominations for Senior of the Year from the public and from other seniors, and anyone who can write like a paragraph. We don't want a whole big biography, but a paragraph or so explaining why this person should qualify, and send that to the Senior Concerns Commission, Village Hall, 20 South Ardmore Avenue. And I believe there's a mailing, should go out this week to the seniors on the senior database that we have. Actually, Officer Runge has it.
Okay.
So, he's very good about keeping a database. So we are going to do that, plus other areas. Seniors will see that through the newspaper and on the village media and all that. So very important date, May 5th, Thursday morning. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, moving on to Village Trustees Report to my right. Trustee Bolfus, you have anything for us?
Sure. I want to piggyback on your message to the residents about solicitors calling you saying that they're with the IRS. I know some people who've had that call too. I just want to stress the point, the IRS never calls you. You will never get a phone call from the IRS agent. So, the other thing is I got a message, a shout out to real estate brokers, commercial brokers in Villa Park and business owners in Villa Park. On this Wednesday, wrong calendar, I think it's the 13th of April.
It is.
At Allegra Banquet Hall on St. Charles Road, there is the Economic Development Commission is hosting a brokers and business owners lunch and to help them to get acquainted with Villa Park and what the advantages are of locating in Villa Park or the businesses that are in Villa Park. They'll be at Allegra on this Wednesday from 11:30 till 1:30 during the lunch hour. So I think there will be probably some lunch available. So
yes,
please come out if you're a broker, commercial or residential, or a business owner. We'd love to see you there. So thank you.
I'll be there. Thank you.
That's it.
Okay, Trustee Taglia.
Okay, just one thing. Boy Scout Troop 242, who's based out of the VFW here in Villa Park, is having their annual pasta dinner, and that will be on the 23rd, is that right?
The
22nd, I'm sorry, the 22nd, and that's from 4 till 8:30 p.m., so come on out to the VFW. That's it.
How much is it?
It's, I think it's $8 for all you can eat.
Wow.
Yes, it's a good deal.
It is a good deal and a good time. So,
Yeah.
okay, great. Thank you. Trustee Case.
Nothing tonight.
Okay, thank you. To my left, Trustee Kazone.
Just a couple things. This Sunday, April 16th, St. Alexander's having their the St. Alexander's Knights of Columbus is having their pancake breakfast from 7:30 to 12 in the gym. I don't have prices on it, but I think it's $8 a person, $15 a couple, I think. But it's always a good time. They have a lot of good food, and they do a nice job there.
Mhm.
And tomorrow, the 12th, at 7 o'clock is the Park and Rec Commission meeting, 7 o'clock at the Iowa Community Center. And we are still looking for one more member of the commission. If anyone would like to join, they can contact President Bullwinkle or myself, and we'll get you the information.
Please do.
And that's it.
Great, thank you. All right. Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a couple of things. Just want to let folks in the public know that the Traffic and Safety Commission will be meeting here at Village Hall Tuesday, April 12th at 8 p.m. In the COW room. And this is a little far off, but just want to let folks know who might be interested in the Mama Squash Market. They're going to have their annual meeting at Lions Field on May 22nd at 1:30 p.m. And if you're interested in becoming a member or want to find out more about it, I'd recommend you attend.
Good.
And I just had one question. I did see that item about the control burn on the village Facebook page post. Are these native plants we're burning? Is this and who's conducting the control burn?
Thank you, Honor. It's a third party. It's one of our consultants that does this on a annual, semi-annual basis. And Mr. Salerno or Director Gola, is that native plants? I don't remember. I don't recall.
And that's all I had.
Okay. V3 is the consultant that we use, in case you weren't able to hear that. Okay. And the control burn. Okay. So you're good? Okay. All right. Moving on to item number 9 on the formal village manager's report.
Your Honor, I'm passing this evening.
Can I ask you to would you give this?
Oh.
'Cause I forgot to give this. So
Sure.
you don't mind giving that announcement.
Your Honor,
I
I'm not passing this evening.
I just got this in my mail, so we'll make sure we say
There is the 3rd annual Student Art Show, and it's Join the District 45 PTA Council. And it'll be for the District 45 students. It's on Friday, April 15th from 6 to 8:30 p.m., and it'll be at the Willowbrook High School. And if the camera can zoom in, it's kind of a nice little invitation. And not sure if you can see it. Oh, there we go. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that our public information officer has distributed this information as well. And we'll put some more text on social media about this event. So thank you, Your Honor.
Great, thank you. Thank you very, very much for that. Okay, item number 10, village attorney's report.
No report.
No report. Okay, moving on to item number 11. On the formal, consider executive session, A, 5 ILCS 120-2, C1, personnel matters and collective bargaining, B, 5 ILCS 120-2, C5, purchase or lease of property, C, 5 ILCS 120-2, C6, sale or lease of property, D, 5 ILCS 120-2, C11, pending litigation, and E, 5 ILCS 120-2, C21, discussion of closed session minutes. Do I have a motion to convene into exec session?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner.
I'd like to make that motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Madam
Okay.
President.
Trustee
Second.
Bolfus. Okay. Going to do a roll call vote on this.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Okay. We're going to convene into exec session, and then we will adjourn following exec session. So stay tuned. Thank you. All right. Thank you for that.